J.C. Newman Cigar Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I am joined once again by my beautiful fiancée, Smokin Nicole. And tonight, my very good friend, Mr. Jonathan Carney, is not here with us, nowadays is per usual. But that's okay, because there is someone from LFD here tonight that's not John Carney, and that is none other than the man himself. He needs no introduction. It's Litto Gomez of Flor, Dominicana. Litto Gomez, welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show.
How you doing, Matt? You guys, thank you for having me at the show. It's great to be here, finally.
I know, thank you. No, it's we've been talking about it since like day one, because John has been here since day one. Well, most of the time, but the first show was his idea. We started at our parents' houses in the beginning of the pandemic. And now here we are, and I kept telling him, like, hey, well, when's Litto going to come on? Because, I mean, like, you're here. Like, Tony's been on the show before. Tony came on, I think, last year. And
so he's got Tony before me.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did.
And remind me to fire him next week, okay?
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about this. I said, so John told me, he's like, I'm not gonna make it for the Litto show. And I was like, what are you talking about? Your boss comes on the show and you're not going to be there? I'm going to be on vacation. I'm like, well, this is going to be great because now we can talk to Litto all about John without him being here to defend himself. And we're a minute into the show and he's already gotten himself into trouble. So I think we're off to a great start.
Good. I love it.
Litto, what are you smoking over there?
I'm smoking a Reserva Especial Toro.
Oh, great cigar. Fantastic cigar.
Yep, that's one of my favorite brands in the whole lineup.
The our cigar of the night is brought to you by twoguyscigars.com tonight. If you head over to Two Guys Cigars, you can find La Flor Dominicana. They are a La Flor Dominicana cigar dealer. I am smoking I was gonna go Andalusian Bull. I didn't want to be too cliche, so I went with my other favorite LFD, and that's gonna be the La Volcada. It's my favorite cigar outside of Andalusian Bull.
Nice.
Great cigar. I've been a huge fan of these for a long time. You can find this at twoguyscigars.com for $13.79 a single, or for a box of 20, we'll set you back $244.99. And Nicole, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking the Lennox. That's one of my favorite
That's
LFDs.
another good one. You can find that also at twoguyscigars.com for $14.19 for a single, or a box of 20 for $252.99. And that's at the number 2guyscigars.com. So Litto, I was talking to John before the show started, just kind of getting prepared for tonight. And one of the things he told me that I had to bring up to you right away was Pro Cigar. He said, you got to ask Litto about Pro Cigar. He was the star of the show. It was a big deal. Tell us about Pro Cigar. We haven't been there yet, but I know that you guys have been a big part of that for some time.
Yeah, Pro Cigar, that whole week is a wonderful week. It's 4 days of celebrations. We get people from the world, and this is consumers, retailers, distributors, and everybody from the industry in the Dominican Republic, and every day, like at 8 a.m. and we go to the farm and we do a tour of the farm, and then we get 60, 70 people in the tour, and so then we got about noon. Before noon, we come back to the factory, and we all have and drinks and wine and beer and anything you will drink, and then we do a tour of the factory, okay? And then it's like, okay, I go home, take a shower, and then we all go to the event, to celebration, the big, huge dinner party, and it's all of the parties every night. It's 3 large parties, and all of them are wonderful. They're all very special on their own, and it's an amazing opportunity to have fun with all kinds of people with from different places in the world, and from from like all walks of our industry, and one thing in common that they all have, they all love cigars. Whether they're from part of the industry or they're consumers, they all are cigar lovers, it's just an amazing week. For me, me and my son Tony, it's a lot of work because it's a long hours every day, but we enjoy every minute of it. I look forward to this event so much, there's a lot of preparation, so I think it's a wonderful week. And the funny thing is that, as time goes by, years go by, we getting a lot more consumers from the U.S. The U.S. A lot of consumers, and it's amazing how many of them are coming. So they all have a great time. So it's an amazing week.
I've seen photos of it. I've talked to folks who've been there. William Cooper, Cigar Coop. He's a good friend. He's talked about it. John's told me so much about it. He's been talking to me about it, a lot lately because it was kind of recently. And it looks like an amazing time, and it looks so special. And being able to go down to the Dominican, go to the factories, and you have all these other events and the parties and like the white dinner. I've seen photos of that. Very real nice looking event. It really does. It looks like it really seems like such a special week.
Yeah, that like you mentioned, it's like a magic. It's like a magic night. I mean, everybody dresses in white, and the whole setup where the place is, it's it's just like a magic night, and everybody. I mean, it's like 900 people that we get that night.
Wow!
And if we had no enough space, it'll be 2,000 people, because not everybody that wants to come in, can, because it sells out really, really quick, and a lot of people are waiting list to come into this party, but it's such a magic night, and I even got on stage, this year, and start doing some rap in there, it's just crazy. It's just magic, and so much fun. It's amazing.
Yeah, John showed us the video from a couple years ago when you guys were on stage, and you guys were doing some rock songs or something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and he was like, "Check this out."
Shameful time, yeah.
But it looks like it was a great time, and it looks like it was so much fun. So.
Yeah, sometimes we make a fool of ourselves, and we do things like this, and it's funny. We're sitting on the table, and my wife doesn't know anything that I'm going to go on stage with dressed like a rock and roll guy.
Yeah.
So suddenly, I told my wife, I'll be back, and then I went into a room and I got changed, and next thing she knows, we're all on stage doing crazy shit. It was amazing.
Oh man, I can only imagine the reaction there. But it's something you'll always have and you'll always remember, and it's the memories that you take from a lot of the good things in life that matter most. So that's it's a special moment for you. You'll always have that. We look forward to coming down. We're trying to come to Pro Cigar next year. We'll have to see how our schedule pans out, but it's definitely high up on our list. There was a little bit of fear missing out this year, but we had two other things in that time period that we had to already committed to, and
Well, yeah, we were in Florida.
we were at we were in Florida for the Great Smoke, and then we were at TP a few weeks before, and so it was kind of hard, but next year, we'd love to come down for Pro Cigar. It just sounds like such an amazing time.
It is.
So the other thing, so kind of back up a little bit, for folks who don't know a lot about you personally, before you were in the cigar business, you were a jeweler, correct?
Right before, yes.
Yeah. How long were you a jeweler for?
I was in a pawn shop, in the pawn shop business.
Oh, okay.
I will lend money on jewelry, and then like 8 years later, I decided to go into retail, and it was a completely different ball game from being a part. And so I had the retail jewelry shop for 2.5 years before I got robbed, and and you know, um, one day it was we were getting ready to close, and it was two young guys that came in. I buzzed them into coming to the shop, very well dressed, very clean cut, and as they approached me, one of them put a hand in his pocket, inside his jacket, and pulled out a gun and put it on my head. And so that was a he took me to the back. There was two jurors working on the back, and we all got tied up all together. My head was on the carpet on the floor, and there was a gun in the back of my head all the time, while the other guy was taking all the jewelry. And it was a pretty intense moment. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know all that.
So that while I was on the floor, so I got my got out of place.
That's okay.
So yeah, you have no idea what I did here, because I never done this from my apartment in Santiago. And so what I have like a 6-pack of 7 Up, and then I made a hole in the plastic, and then I put my phone in there.
Oh, there you go.
And that's the setup in front of me. I'm looking at that. You can't see that. But anyways, while all this was happening, I was, I saw these guys' faces, and I thought that something could happen, and it was pretty scary. I was, and I was making promises that if I will get out of there alive, and nobody would get hurt, and I would get rid of the jewelry shop. I would never be in the jewelry business again. And thanks God, nobody got hurt. I'm still alive, and so immediately after that, those guys, they left. After a while, the police came, and they broke the door, and they came to the back of the on the floor. And so after that, I sold the jewelry store, and got rid of it. And I was looking for something else some other business to do. So, the idea of coming into the cigar business came up through a friend of my wife and I. And so what was interesting is that, in retrospective, sometimes, and maybe there's a lot of young guys that are listening to the show, and you guys are very young also. Sometimes things happen in your life that you think is the worst thing happen to you, and as it turned out, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today talking to you.
It's true.
Yep. So
Maybe you wouldn't have sold the jewelry store. And
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll still be a juror. And so because of what happened that day, my life has changed, and I'm here today, and I'm enjoying a life experience, and I was able to find what I love to do, and what I want to do for the rest of my life until the day I die. And that was because of those two guys. I wish I know where they are. I want to send them a thank you note. No.
Oh wow, I don't think I've ever heard that reaction before. It's an interesting point of view and take though. Yeah, in a way they kind of did you a favor. They started.
They did. I have no idea. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, it's a wild story, and it's unfortunate that you had to like go through that, regardless. But the fact that you can kind of make a positive out of it, I think is really the best. And kind of take that as like, it happened. It was unfortunate, but something even better came about it, and now I have this whole new life I never thought I'd have, and you're doing so well, which is amazing. So, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know all that. I knew that you were in this jewelry business, but I didn't realize all of that went down. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, and you know, and it's also crazy how because of a major event in your life changed in a different direction, and uh, so and it doesn't necessarily is not necessarily it's going to be for a bad thing. It can change for much better thing later on,
Right.
and you don't see that when this major event happen. You don't realize that, and you feel as bad as you can feel because it's the worst thing that happened to your life so far. But then your life takes a turn into something that you had no good it was going to be, and then your life changes forever. It's very interesting. I mean, you have no idea how thankful I am for that day, for what happened that day. It's just incredible. Yeah.
The now you start La Flor Dominicana, but if I remember correctly, before it was La Flor Dominicana, it was known by something else. If
It was called Los Libertadores,
Yes, that's what it was.
like the liberators. Yeah, yeah. And when uh, we had a partner when we started, and then we started getting different ideas and in which direction we would take the company, and so we have a conflict, and as far as with the future of the company will be, and we had different ideas. So we came to an agreement that either he would buy us or we'll buy him, and he decided that he will sell us his part of the company, and then at that point, my wife and I, we decided that it was the right moment to start with a new name, and it's a very very how will I say it, a very serious thing to change the name of your brand. Okay.
Hmm.
But then, at that time, we thought, okay, we've been in the market for, just over a year and a half. It was just under 2 years. And at that moment, the cigar boom of the mid 90s was going on. And, there was there was not a lot of cigars. There was a scarcity of cigars, and every cigar shop needed cigars. It didn't matter where they would come from or who they just needed cigars to be sold at that store. And so I we called a few of our original customers, and we asked, what do you think if we would change the name of our brand? Everything would be the same blends, and the name of the cigars. Each cigar will have the same name, but then the main brand will have a different name, and all of our customers, all of the retailers that we call, they say, you know what, Lito, we don't care what the name of the brand is, just send us cigars.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know you. We trust the cigars that you can make. It doesn't matter what the name is at this point, and we would like to keep your cigars in here, whatever the name you choose to be. And so we decided that was the right moment to come up with La Flor Dominicana, and that was in 1976, if I remember well. No, 1996. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
96. Yeah. So
yeah, 1996.
1996 it becomes La Flor Dominicana.
That's correct. Yes.
Interesting. And then so from there, like you were saying, the boom of the mid 90s is there, like and kind of like you were saying, good opportunity to change the name because the demand was so high it wouldn't matter. So you change the name, you get your cigars to market, people are buying them, and then it just kind of went from there ever since.
Exactly, yes, exactly, and I love the name, and it was a lot easier to pronounce for most Americans than the previous name, and so we became La Flor Dominicana, and it was a pretty very quick transition, and we didn't feel any negative reaction about it, and we started to build, you know. Uh, Loyalty of cigar smokers their brand, and they would like the flavor of our cigars, and they would like the consistency, and they started to trust our brand, and it was little by little, and I remember that during the cigar boom, it was a very very difficult time to make cigars.
Hmm.
And the market was going crazy, and there was a lot more cigar smokers every day, and everybody wanted to smoke cigars because it was in fashion. It was a kind of a fashion thing to do, and but then we didn't have much growth. I remember all the way until 1998 we had 14 rollers in our roller room, and I couldn't, because there was no tobacco available. There was no good tobacco available.
Right.
There was tobacco, it was bad tobacco, but if I wanted to increase my production, I didn't have leaves to make them with.
Hmm.
And I remember we were making cigars at a rate of maybe 350,000 cigars a year, and we had like 1.5 million cigars in back order, in orders.
Wow.
Okay, and we couldn't fulfill these orders, but because we didn't have good tobacco to keep our blends, to to make our cigars with the same blend that we were making them. So we couldn't sell those cigars. We couldn't have any growth during those times. Okay, it was after the boom was over in 1998 that it was impossible to grow. And I remember there were factories in 1996, 97. There were factories opening in Santiago every day, and there was no tobacco available for anybody.
Right. It was almost like during the boom, you were just trying to stay alive.
I was just trying to stay alive, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and my tobacco suppliers, I had two suppliers back then, and they will give me this tobacco, they told me you can count on this tobacco. I cannot give you more, and every company needed more tobacco, but there was none, and tobacco needs to be cultivated from year to year, and that area of growing tobacco needs to grow in order to have more leaves. Okay, and I have my local suppliers, and I would call, like, the major tobacco suppliers back then, like the Olivas and the Perez family, major tobacco growers, and from Ecuador or from Nicaragua, from different places, and they couldn't even answer my call. They couldn't return my call because, first of all, they didn't have any tobacco. Whatever they had was for their traditional customers.
Hmm.
Okay, and second, nobody knew who I was. So I mean, who's going to take my call? So uh, 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 it was impossible to get tobacco to grow, and those new factories that were opening up, they they were making cigars with really bad tobacco, and they would make like the first sale to some distributor or something, and then the reorder never came, and uh, they uh, actually we are the only company that was not here before the boom. Okay,
Wow.
and it is here today. Okay, there was the traditional cigar factories, then over 100 factories open, and they're all gone. And La Flor Dominicana is the only factory that stay after the boom and everything. And and mainly, and I guess because we didn't mess up with our blends. We had the orders. We could have sold a lot of cigars, but we just couldn't be blend our cigars the way they were blended with the right tobacco. So we didn't make anymore.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean,
yeah,
no, sorry, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, it's impressive that you were able to, um, follow your own path, do your own thing, get through the boom, survive the boom, and then the boom's over. Now La Flor Dominicana can just grow and get bigger and bigger, and now, you don't have to make those phone calls because you can for the most part grow your own tobacco, and I know you guys probably buy some tobaccos, but now you're like, hey, now people will return my phone call. I've made it. I've grown my business. And like you said, and I didn't realize that. So you guys were the only brand that actually survived the boom, who was a new brand. Everyone else had not really made it. I didn't know that. That's an interesting point.
yeah. It's I remember it was like at the end of '97, the beginning of '98. There was like this big question. Who of all the brands that have been new brands that have been made in the Dominican Republic, who of all these new brands, which one of them will survive and will stay after this boom is over? Because it was already tapering down, and so and I find out later through retailers. You know what? I asked. Back in 1997, one of your competitors, and I asked him. Which of the brands from Dominican will stay in the market, and everybody said La Flor Dominicana. Everybody said Litto Gomez, and even all my competitors will say that. So and that's the way it happened. Every other factory got closed, and we are pretty much the only premium brand that stayed after the boom, and it was it was mainly because of the respect that we had for our blends, the
Right.
respect that we had for the consumer that would smoke our cigar,
You didn't
and
rush. You didn't use bad tobaccos. You took the
no,
time. You did it the right way. Yeah.
yeah. And believe me, we needed money back then. We needed the money,
Yeah.
fulfilling those orders that we had. We did need the money to do that, but we just couldn't do that. And we just take and wait for our time, and then when there was more tobacco available, and then our buyers will give us more tobacco, and that's how we started growing, little by little. We never stopped growing since then, and then my name as a manufacturer and the name of La Flor Dominicana started to grow. And then, obviously, one day I will call again one of the suppliers because then, you want tobaccos from different countries so you can blend, you can make different. And then I started to call these suppliers again, and and they all took my call, and we started a wonderful relationship for many years, and some of the best tobacco growers in the world, they're very happy to do business with us and to be our suppliers, and it happened when it was the right time to happen. I had to do my thing. I had to grow. I had to grow the name of my brand. I had to grow my name, to earn the respect of my colleagues, the other manufacturers, and I had to earn the respect of suppliers, and that's how it happens. And that's there was no doubts for me. I knew that it was, and then everybody will open the doors to our company.
Yeah, and it sounds to me, like you made a comment before. Even your competitors had faith in you. Like, oh, this guy's actually gonna make it. He's doing it the right way. He's making some good cigars. I think he's gonna make it. Which that's gonna be a huge compliment as a younger, newer cigar maker. just trying to, like you said, grow your name and grow your business. And you got people down the road who've been doing it for 100 years. Like, that guy's doing pretty good.
Listen, it is like that, and I was not surprised, or I understood perfectly well that it was going to be like that. You have to remember, this, or the rest of the companies here in Dominican, they have generations in the business, and they're second, third generation, and I understood that I would have to, um, uh, earn respect from them, and
Right.
and that it was going to take time, and the only way that was going to happen, it was by just dedicating myself to building respect for our brand, and trying to do the best I could, and being humble, and respect everybody else around me, and which I always had respect all the other manufacturers around me, whether they're from Nicaragua, from Dominican, and I tell you one thing, and one of the weeks that I enjoy the most in the year, other than Pro Cigar, is PCPR or PCA. Why? Because I get to see every manufacturer. I get to see all the people in the industry, all my colleagues or competitors, whatever you want to call it. And I get to spend time with them, and that's the highlight of my work here is when I get to spend time with people in the industry. And I love them all and respect them. And this is one of the most powerful industries that it's actually one of the industries that I know. Maybe there's another one I don't know, but I tell you one thing: I've been in a couple of trades through my life, and many different industries, and the cigar industry is just it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it
The-
is. It's special.
because of the people in it.
Yeah, it's very true. The people, it's very true. And speaking of that, there's a couple of things I want to get to. First, we have our news, and then we're gonna give a little update on the charity. Our news segment brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. If you head over to McAuliffeCigars.com today, you can sign up to become an official McAuliffe ambassador. While you're at it, get your official ambassador number and coin, and head over to Facebook and sign up and join the McAuliffe Ambassadors Facebook group, where you can hang out and smoke with all your fellow ambassadors. This week, Drew Estate has announced that the 2022 limited edition Herrera Esteli Habano Lancero and the Herrera Esteli Connecticut Broadleaf Lancero are returning soon to participating Drew Diplomat Program cigar sellers. Both cigars will be showcased during Drew Estate's Freestyle Live Special Edition broadcast, which is tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. That is going on right now. As we were live on the show, I did get an update that I believe the Freestyle Live cigar that went out is going to be the Nica Rustica Adobe. I don't have any more information on that, as I just saw a quick snippet of that while we were live. So if you head over to SmokinTabacco.com, you can read more about that, and all the stuff that they have coming on from Drew Estate and the Freestyle Live event this week. Also, Litto, I'm not sure if you know everything. I'm sure you know something about it, but I mostly work with John on this. But so we're doing a fundraiser for the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation for the Newman and Fuente families. And we are amazed to say this tonight. I don't think we thought we were going to have to say this tonight.
No, we did not.
So the fundraiser was supposed to end on Tuesday. Cynthia and Carlito contacted me, and we talked about extending it another 2 weeks. They wanted to, have another 2 weeks. Carlito thought, we can raise so much more, and I know we can do this. And I said, okay, sure, let's push it out 2 weeks. We were at just over $10,000 raised at the time, until about, I want to say about midnight, late Tuesday. I was actually already asleep, and Nicole woke me up, and she's like, hey, you got to see this. And I said, what is it? And she's like, we just got another donation. And and I'm like half asleep. It's dark. I'm in bed, and I'm looking at her phone, and I see the total, and I'm like, 20,000. I'm like, what? And I'm like thinking I'm still dreaming. And she's like, we just got a $10,000 donation. And I'm like, I sit up in the bed, and I'm like, wait, what happened? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my God, we got a $10,000 donation. So as we sit, we are at $21,550 raised for the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation. It came from an anonymous individual who donated anonymously. So I will respect their privacy. We
know who it
we
is,
know who
but-
it is because we're running the charity, but out of respect for that, they want to remain anonymously, so they will. All we can say to that person is thank you so much.
Yep.
That was extremely generous. I mean, they doubled what we already had in, and we still have 11 more days to go.
And
Pretty crazy.
to touch on the fact that Carlito and the Fuentes are going to match.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, if you didn't hear that last week, I think we announced this last week. Carlito and Cynthia have said that they are going to match whatever the final total is through the Fuente Family Foundation, which is another organization they use for other charitable things that they do. So Carlito said that whatever it is, that we're going to match. So at this point, we're looking at about
42.
$43,000 total raised for Cigar Family Charitable Foundation, and we are very proud of that.
That's awesome. You can add an extra $1,000 that I will donate. I'll send you a check. Okay.
Wow.
I'll participate in that. It is a great foundation. It's it's like my brother, and Cynthia. I love Cynthia, and we started our friendship very early on. Okay, very very early on when I was just Mr. Nobody, and Carlito gave me his heart, and I give him my heart, and we became very close friends since then. And they're amazing people. Okay, so I know the organization very well and the family. So
That's
right.
well,
That's
it's very
awesome.
that's
Yeah,
very
and thanks for
generous of you,
doing that.
Lito. Absolutely, no, that's very generous. Thank you for that. La Flor Dominicana has donated some prizes to the raffle that we're doing as part of this to raise money as well. Which you know what, I'll bring that up here since we're on the show. We're talking about it. The first thing which is really cool and special, is John put in a blend your own experience, which I don't think anyone else has ever done, where one winner is going to get to blend a cigar with La Flor Dominicana, and then whatever that final blend will be, they will roll 8 of them, and they will box them specially for you, and they will send them to you directly. That is one prize that is up for grabs from LFD. Another one is a box of the Andalusian Bulls signed by none other than Litto Gomez.
Yep.
That is up for grabs from La Flor Dominicana. One of the new Astronomy ashtrays is also up for auction for this fundraiser. And an LFD canvas print and a 20-count cigar bundle. 2 lucky winners will win an LFD canvas print and a 20-count bundle of the LFD School of Rolling Class of 2021 cigars, donated by our friends at La Flor Dominicana. So La Flor Dominicana is playing a huge part in this raffle too. And we're really, really humbled to have that. It's so generous. And I mean, I don't have anything else to say about it. I'm blown away by where we've ended up on this charity. I did not see this happening. And it's so amazing. And the money goes so far, and it helps so many people, and it changes so many lives. Every dollar counts, and we appreciate every dollar of it. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to La Flor Dominicana for graciously donating so much to it. We really appreciate it.
Welcome.
It's like Lito said, it's a very special organization. And the Fuente and Newman families, they're special people for doing this, and every dollar goes directly to this foundation. The Fuente and Newman families, they pay all the administrative costs out of pocket. So every dollar you donate goes directly to this cause, which is also very impressive too. Not every charity does that. So it's very, very impressive. So, getting back to Lito. So Lito, now I know that the last few years you guys haven't attended the IPCPR, or what is now the PCA trade show, but La Flor Dominicana will be back at the trade show this year. And I know you guys have been working on a couple of things. So we can expect to see some new things debut at the trade show this year, correct?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And I'm very excited to come back to the trade show. And as I said before, it's a highlight of the year for me. And it's I don't get to go around the country a lot because I have to be here in Dominican running the factory, running production. and so I don't get to travel a lot within the U.S. and I don't get to see my customers a lot. So to see them all in there in one place, it's always a blessing. And just talking to them and asking them how we do, how am I doing as with the consistency of our product, and to get their feedback for me, it's just so important. And so I'm very happy to be back at the show. And obviously we haven't released any for many years. And so yes, this year we will release one new cigar, which is it'll be like the opposite to Lennox.
Hmm.
So it will be called Soleil, which Lennox is night, and Soleil is the sun, is the daytime, right? So and that will be like the opposite to Lennox, and so that blend was something that my other son Litto Gomez Jr. Created, and so we're gonna bring it into a blend. So we are bringing that cigar, and we're bringing back the LG, the Litto Gomez.
Oh, great cigar.
We'll bring it back at the show. So I'm very, very, very excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, someone said earlier that the where was it in the comments? I saw it.
Right here.
The Litto Gomez small batch #2 was an amazing cigar, and that's true. The Litto Gomez small batch, one of the best cigars ever made.
And there will be another small batch this year also. That'll be a very limited edition together with the release of the LG line. It'll be another limited edition of the small batch. Super excited about it. And it's
No,
tastes
Litto,
amazing to me.
the Litto Gomez small batch, that's vintage. That's vintage tobaccos, correct?
Yeah, very, very old tobacco. And
Yeah.
very unique tobacco also. And um, it's and we normally don't have like a lot of it because I put these batches of tobacco away for years, and so I just pick them when every crop comes in every year. I just pick these tobaccos and I put them in a separate, and they would come into the small batch. And it's always a limited edition, about 30,000 cigars in all. And so it's a very small quantity of cigars that we'll make in every edition of the small batch. And the 2022 edition will, and I'm very excited, and it tastes amazingly good.
Now, we did have a question in the audience from Mark. Is LFD experiencing a shortage of any tobaccos that will affect the production of their mainstay blends?
It's some of the tobaccos in that we use for some of our lines are limited. Um, uh, Not all of them, but some of them, like key elements like rubber or binder, they're not in large supplies, and so what has been holding our production in the last you know after the pandemic, we had to close the factory for a month and a half when this whole thing with the pandemic happened. And then when we reopened with 50% capacity, 50 employees, because we had to separate everybody
Right.
because of the distance, and just trying to keep everybody safe, and taking all the measurements that we could to keep everybody safe. And so we started at 50% capacity, and almost for a whole year. And then we started increasing a little bit, and the capacity and the number of employees, and it is now that we are at our full production again. So, and there's some elements that like the tobaccos that we have for the Andalusian Bull. It doesn't matter what. I mean, it's just like we don't have enough of that. And we just get limited amounts of these materials. And I wish we had more, and so we could make a lot more of them. But unfortunately, some of the cigar materials are not like in large supply, and they're special, and we get what we can, and but we cannot get every material that we need as much as we want. So for some of the materials, yes, we're sure, but for the staple lines on the Flor Dominicana like Double Hero, Aligero, and and we're doing pretty good with materials right now, and we're doing pretty good with production. So it's production levels are good right now.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
That's really
finally.
good to hear. Yeah, I mean that was a rough time. I mean every manufacturer we spoke to. I mean in the beginning it was like we don't know what's going on, and no one really knew what to do, and no one really knew how to plan, and then it just became, okay, well now we got to stockpile what we have because now there's shortages from the supply chain, and then eventually it was we don't have enough to keep rolling certain cigars, or we can't get our boxes made, or we can't get this, or we don't have bands. Difficult time for everyone, and the fact that everyone was for the most part kind of able to get through those uncharted times is really impressive too. And John always says, when he's on the show too, and I'm sure he said this to you before too. He always says, "Congratulations to the consumers because you've outsmoked the capacity of the manufacturers." Because another boom in a sense had started, and so many cigars were being sold to the pandemic as well. So it's like the factories are closing and things are getting harder to get, but the demand went even higher than it was. So it was like the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was exactly that. I mean, you had, production came down, and consumption went up, and it's a lot of people's lives have changed, and and people had a lot more time. They were in their homes a lot more time. They still are. Some people's lives they still they haven't gone back to normal, and a lot of people are still working from their homes, and they have more time, and a lot of people have with everything that happened, and this life-changing experience that we all went through, and a lot of people have rethought about the you know, and why not doing this, or why not getting together with friends and sit down in a lounge somewhere and smoke a cigar, and have conversation with good people, and why not doing that. It was like this thing that happened had an impact on many people's lives, and cigars were one of the things that people started to uh, start smoking them, start enjoying what comes with a smoking cigar, a cigar which is relaxing, and wind down, and get together with friends and talk about things, or just reflect about life while you're doing it, if you're alone, and that's what caused all this, and we've seen, I met a lot of new smokers lately, and and some of the people that had more time, or couldn't smoke cigars as often before, they did have more time to do it now. So I mean, it's the perfect storm, like you said, was small production, and 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 it seems like it will go on for some time. I mean, I see a lot of enthusiasm amongst consumers, and I tell you one thing: the difference from now to 1996 is that 1996 or 97 there was a lot of bad cigars in the market. because there was a lot of factories that opened up and a lot of brands that were making cigars with really bad tobacco, low quality tobacco. What's happening now? What's different now? This is the best years of cigars because of the quality. It has never been as high as it is today.
Right.
From all manufacturers, from all countries.
Yeah, it's a different game now.
Quality levels are amazing today.
Oh,
so you're not, if you start smoking cigars today, you're not disappointed.
No. With that, I want to get into our top 3 segment as we wind down towards the end of the show. The show goes so fast sometimes I don't even realize it. Our top 3 segment brought to you by Room 101. Watch the Smokin Tabacco show. Eat your vegetables, take your vitamins, and smoke Room 1. So as I was saying, sorry, I got a little distracted. Carlito kept trying to call me in the middle of the show, and then I was like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, oh, and he got confused because we're doing something tomorrow. I kind of panicked there. But anyway, so I was talking to John before the show. So again, this came from John, just so you know. This is John gave me this to pitch to you. So our top 3 segments. So it's 3 things. It's, you know, for example, like tonight it's going to be 3 favorites. So for you, it's top 3 favorite alcoholic drinks. I assume that's rum.
It's a cup of rum, yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite drink.
So
and it has been for many, many years.
So that's your favorite drink. So what about are there 2 other things?
There's no coffee here. There's rum here.
Oh, okay. So it's rum. Well, it's funny. John mentioned too. He said you got to ask Litto. He goes, he said the one thing people don't know about Litto is he exclusively drinks everything out of a foam cup. And he said you have to ask him why. He said you need to ask Litto why he smokes or why he drinks everything out of a foam cup. I don't know. Apparently it's a staple for you. He told me to ask.
Here's the thing, so I don't drink really fast, and I live in the tropics, okay, and it gets pretty hot here in the tropics in Santiago or in Miami, and so if I put my drink with ice on a glass, it will be melted like in half an hour, and it'll be all watery, and I don't alcohol anymore. So in my styrofoam cup, it lasts forever. So I can drink it slow, and the drink will still be flavorful.
Ah, okay, all right. I didn't.
So that's the reason. And guess what? Because like you don't find styrofoam cups anymore in the U.S. pretty much. So,
that's true.
Yeah, I still find them in Dominica. So I bring my cups in my bag back to Miami every week. So I styrofoam cups. I can't find them anymore.
You know, I can't believe that it would be that hard to find styrofoam cups that you have to bring them back from the Dominican. But to think about it, I don't even see styrofoam cups around. You're right. You just don't really see them. But that's great. But it makes a lot of sense too. I'll give you that. That's a very good reason. And I have to look into that for myself because your drinks always melt down so fast, and especially when it's hot out. And
you know, if you're outside and it's hot, you know what, your drink is going to go. It's going to be water like in 2 minutes, and you know, you have this jetty, you know, these metal cups that are, you know, insulated and stuff, and you know, the drink will done a lot longer. I just don't like the metal. That's all.
Yeah. So Anthony Almonte says, in the past, Litto's favorite drink was Brugal Extra Viejo.
Yes.
Interesting.
And you know, they Brugal has, you know, changed, and what Extra Viejo will be was back then. Now will be like the 1888. and it's a lot. It has a different name, and it's a lot more expensive. And so they changed their blends somehow, maybe 10 years ago. And I started, keep buying my Extra Viejo, and it wasn't the same anymore. So then I keep going up the scale, and the upscale rums, more aged rums, and that's what it used to be. It's nowadays the 1888, which is a great rum, and I drink it often too. Great, great rum brand.
Would you say that you're
Amazing.
exclusively rum when it comes to alcohol?
I do Scotch. Um, I do Scotch also,
Oh, okay.
but less, a lot less. Yeah, a lot less.
Do you get into wine too?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, John's every time we're with John, it's always wine. He drinks a lot. I can't tell you how many bottles of wine we've been forced to drink down because he'll just keep it coming. He loves wine.
Wine is great. I mean, you having a great dinner, and wine is just the perfect thing. And I love wines, and red wine for the most part. I know, you have these rules that, if you're eating fish, you want white wine. But I just like red wine for the most part. So,
Me too.
and I have a wine cellar in my house, and I keep some good wines in there. And every now and then, my son gets in there, and he has no idea what he's picking up, and he just gets one of my bottles that I'm trying to age, and so I get into a fight with my son, Litto Junior, every now and then. Because of that, he just gets into my cellar, and I had to change the combination to get in, and then somehow gets known again, and he gets in again. So, but yeah, I love to keep wines. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. We are getting towards the end of the show. We are running out of time. We're not want to keep you all night, so we're gonna wind down the show. But before we go, just want to say, guys, everyone, don't forget to check out the raffle for Cigar Family Travel Foundation. It's still going on for another 11 days. You can find that link to that at smokintabacco.com. You can find it on our social media page. Also, if you text, and it's coming up on the bottom of your screen, if you text SMKTAB to 855-202-2100, your phone, you'll get a link to the fundraiser right on your phone. You can click that; it'll bring you right to it, and you can make all your donations. That is SMKTAB to 855-202-2100. Litto, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Know you're a busy guy. Thank you for taking the time. This was such a pleasure to have you with us. Before we let you, don't go anywhere. Stay with us as we end the show. But before we sign off, anything you want to say or anything you want to touch on before we go, the floor is yours.
Listen. I want to thank you for having me, and I kind of do research on you guys, and you guys are doing great, and thanks for doing this. You guys, like, we in the background make cigars. You are the people that take the news to the consumers. You are the people that connect me or any other manufacturer to consumers. You're so important for us, for the manufacturers, and have no idea your work, and not only me, but all the manufacturers out there. You are the guys that take the message to the consumers, to the people that make everything possible. Is the consumers. Without them, but you guys, you just take the message out there, and you made us, you make us a part of it. You bring us in, so we can communicate with the consumers everything that we're trying to do, so thank you very much. I mean, you guys are so important to us. Okay. Thanks for what you're doing. You're doing wonderful you cigar lovers, and you make this like your life, and you just you're great doing it, and so thank you very much.
Thank you, Litto. That's so nice of you to say.
Thank
Really,
you.
we really appreciate that a lot. It's
Thank you.
that's why we're here. We love the industry. We love the cigars. And we're just happy to be a little part of it, and it's special enough for us. So thank you. It means a lot to hear you say that. That's really kind. But guys, that's gonna do it for our show this week. Thank you so much, Litto. Thank you for everyone for watching, listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, everywhere you can get your podcast from. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to donate. Get your raffle tickets. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow night for another Fuente Friday with Cynthia and Carlito Fuente. And then Saturday night, the Spare Notes series is back, and Coop has a beef this week. Don't worry, we're going to tell you all about it on Saturday night.
He always has a beef. But also next week's guest, we have Andy Green joining us from Ashton.
Oh, that's right. Next week is the Ashton week with Andy Green, so don't forget to miss that one.
Don't
Miss that one. Don't forget we'll be here. Same time, same place. We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.